What's up everyone, it's Edible.
Incredible.
And today I'll be joined by my dog, Hyrule Gamer, as we discuss decisions the royal family made that resulted in negative impacts to Hyrule. This list is in no particular order, it's not a ranking, however feel free to let us know what you think is the worst decision they've made, even if your pick is not on this list. By the way, this will contain spoilers for a few Zelda games. We've decided to split this collaboration into two separate parts, so don't forget to check out his channel as part 2 will be over there. Also, we are not attempting to discover every single one, but just focusing on 6 deadly decisions the royal family made.
So, in the beginning of The Legend of Zelda, the Minish Cap, the royal family of Hyrule make a pretty deadly decision early on in the game. In fact, it is during the annual Picori Festival, a festival to celebrate the Picori and honour them. Well, as we know, one year the festival didn't exactly go down as it normally would have. This Picori Festival consisted of a breach of some sort. So, the year this happened, Hyrule Castle hosted the annual sword fighting tournament. The champion of the sword fighting tournament that year was the mysterious character by the name of Vae. Vae won the sword fighting tournament with ease, pretty suspicious and magical ease. Now, what actually happened? Well, Vae of course got to go to Hyrule Castle for winning the tournament, as the winner of the tournament each year gets the privilege of approaching the Picori Blade. The castle was where the Picori Blade was, and the bound chest. This chest for many years has been sealed by the Picori Blade, which trapped a lot of evil within it. Well, when Vae was given permission to approach the Picori Blade, he approached pacing towards it. Now, the royal family had very little security around such a sacred blade. 4 guards and nothing more. Along with this, the name Vae had already been known around Hyrule as a dark and mysterious name, and the royal family just simply allowed him to approach the blade. Well, the mysteriously powerful Vae cleared the guards out within seconds, to then proceed to break the Picori Blade itself, and this opening the bound chest, releasing all evil into the kingdom of Hyrule. This was a poor decision, and yes, pretty deadly at the same time, by the royal family to allow such a mysterious swordsman anywhere near the blade. To be honest, the royal family shouldn't be allowing anyone that close to the blade, considering all of the evil locked within the bound chest.
Before the events of Ocarina of Time, there was a civil war. A dying mother left the fires of war and entered the magical Kakariko forest. She entrusted her son to the Deku Tree before passing away. This son, as we know, was the hero of time himself. Miyamoto has stated in an interview that Link was 9 as a child, then 16 as an adult. So this means the war was about 9 years ago from the start of Ocarina of Time. The Sheikah are mysteriously absent throughout the game. Impa is believed to be the final Sheikah, and Kakariko village was the Sheikah's hometown. But oddly enough, after the war, it is now populated by Hylians. I believe this means the Sheikah were either killed in the war or left the lands of Hyrule due to the conflicts of war. However, I'm leaning towards the first option. Here is gathered Hyrule's bloody history of greed and hatred. I'm sure you've heard this quote many times, from the one and only Shadow Temple. It's the darkest dungeon throughout the game, and ironically enough, it's located in Kakariko village. Specifically their graveyard out of all places. So many questions rise. Was this temple indeed a torture prison? A place to slaughter and finish off the Sheikah race? It's all speculation at the end of the day. However, I believe the royal family's decision to impact the Sheikah tribe caused the entire race either to flee or be murdered by the hands of the royal family. Their decision was indeed deadly and almost wiped out the entire race of Sheikah, who remember are responsible for protecting the royal family and specifically the Princess Zelda of that time.
Now, this decision goes all the way back to the original Zelda game, where the Zelda games all started. So this decision isn't exactly told in the game itself, but if we look to the Hyrule Historia book, we can learn quite a lot about a certain decision that happened around this time. So the first Zelda game takes place in the Downfall timeline, right at the end, just before Zelda 2. the Adventure of Link. Now, basically, from reading through some of the Hyrule Historia, we can actually gather some interesting information. So, what I'm talking about? Well, the King of Hyrule at the time had a daughter and a son. The king was afraid that after his passing, whenever it may come, that the powers of the Triforce may be abused after he passes on. Well, what the king did to prevent this from happening is that with the Triforce of Courage, he actually hid it and placed a spell across the land of Hyrule. This ensured that the crest would appear on a worthy hero once they'd been properly trained and prepared. However, the king had his doubts about his own son and passing it on to him. So, in secret, the Triforce of Wisdom was passed on to his daughter, Princess Zelda. Now, following the death of the king, it became noticed that no crest had appeared upon the prince. Well, the new king. Now, long story short, a wizard became knowledgeable of this information, as the wizard and this new king, Zelda's brother, believed Zelda possessed the Triforce of Wisdom. Well, that was true. However, Zelda denied it, as she was being interrogated by this wizard and her own brother about the Triforce of Wisdom. So she was protecting herself, I guess you could say. Well, this didn't go down so well for the princess, as the wizard and Zelda's brother both interrogated her. What happened exactly? Well, after the wizard lost his temper, he threatened Zelda with a spell to put her to sleep for eternity. The wizard did just that. Princess Zelda fell to the ground right in front of the wizard and the king, her brother. So, the deadly decision that went down here? Well, if the previous king would have had less doubts about giving his son the Triforce of Courage, and trusted him, this could have been prevented. But we could never know if it really would have been prevented. Maybe the king giving his son the Triforce of Courage could have revealed the complete Triforce to the wizard, but we'll never know that for sure. His own actions in not handing it down to the next king did result in his daughter Zelda casted to sleep for eternity, but we will never know the true answer to this. Also, interestingly enough, the sleeping Zelda at the end of Zelda the Adventure of Link is actually the same sleeping Zelda from the result of this decision. It is known that her brother, the king, took his sleeping sister to the North Castle in hopes she would be revived. Just a little interesting fact.
Alright guys, that concludes part 1. Be sure to check out part 2 as I'll have it linked in the pinned comment down below. Thanks so much for viewing, and don't forget to stay hype. I'll catch you on Hyrule Gamer's channel. Peace.